Well, I said the next one would be about brine shrimps. I didn't say what kind. I found sea monkeys. These are the actual original sea monkeys. I found them finally in a small local store, and I can actually try the original ones. Just a little thing before we go into this. Yes, I did start another brine shrimp tank. Yes, it did go horribly wrong at first. Since I have last posted an update, new babies have hatched in it, and those two survivors from the last update are still thriving. They're actually feeding off of the little like algae powder growing on the ground, and the bubbles are like kicking it up every now and then, and it's actually working out pretty well. I did have a giant implosion of the rate of them, and I learned a couple things. One, something we're going to learn inside of this, you're not supposed to feed them for 5 days. I fed them on the 3rd. Babies had hatched 2 days before, and I had fed them that day. I also fed them that day and the day after. That was my biggest mistake. I had overfed them, and I had fed them too early. That, combined with the sheer amount that was in there, caused a giant extinction of all but 2. How those 2 survived, I do not know. But they are still going. I have not fed them since. They have been feeding off the stuff on the ground. Perfectly fine. But, because of that, and this now being here, I did want to start up a second tank. Little small one. These ones I believe are about 300 milliliters, although I'm not sure. I haven't measured it. And it should be fairly easy to start up. Everything you need should be included inside of this kit, just like the other one, except for this kit's going to take up a lot less space. Let's go ahead and pop this open. Lid just comes off, and everything is inside. Including the official Instant Life Handbook, which, if I can get it open, tells you about the origins of sea monkeys, the steps. Step 1, water purifier. Step 2, instant live eggs. And then step 3 are growth food. Once a week or less. 1 week after they've begun to hatch is whenever you're supposed to start feeding them. That's where I messed up. Water evaporation. Very common thing. I did manage to do this, actually. It is natural for the water in your container to evaporate slowly. When it drops by 2 inches, replace it with room temperature distilled or bottled water and scoop out any contaminants that may have found their way into the tanks. No additives are needed. As the water evaporates, the salt minerals formula become concentrated. This helps the sea monkeys to molt their shells during the growing process and helps perpetuate the natural life cycle. I have been doing this because of the fact that we aerate and heat the tank, so haven't had too many issues of it. And of course, brine shrimp, they come from dormant cyst eggs, which can turn into the little babies. And then they become these little deeds, which is, I think, the stage we're on right now. And then they become juveniles and then adults. And then once they're adults, they can either, if they're in good water, they will live birth out new and start a new cycle. If they are in a completely bad situation, they will lay the cyst eggs, and they will just need it to be, basically all the water will need to evaporate, and then you can start it back up. Certain shrimps do this anyway. Yeah, that's actually really cool. They have, like, super detailed pictures here. Wow. Wow. And then, of course, you've got the mail order parts. So this right here, you can check money order or cash accepted. You basically check off whatever you want and you send it off, including a pouch that we will not get here called Plasma 3. The only thing it doesn't look like you can send off to, which I would have liked to see, is the aeration pipette. You can't order that. The only way to get that is from the there's like a retro kit for starting up, and that comes with the aeration pipette. Yeah, it's actually a nice little book. What else we got in here? I don't think we got much else. We got a little insert because this is the tank. It's not bad. I kind of agree with the general consensus of these are annoying, but you can turn it around, which is what we're going to be doing. And then in here, it comes with step 1, which is your water purifier. Step 2, which is the instant live eggs. And Step 3, which is the growth monkey food. Or the growth food. Little thing that has been pointed out multiple times. Both of these contain eggs. Whenever you put this in here, they both contain eggs. And in fact, you can put them both in at the same time. You don't need to wait 24 hours. Only if you use certain types of water. Obviously, if you're using tap water, one, I would boil it first so you can get rid of all the stuff in your like tap and stuff. And two, I would put the purifier in and wait. But yeah, these are the same, basically, salt and eggs in both of these. In fact, there's eggs in the food. So that's something funny. Having all these eggs makes it kind of interesting that if you have like a little bit of a lower amount, hey, look, I fed them and now there's more babies. Kind of interesting. But if you were just going to do this regularly, this is all you would need. You also have a spoon, which is for feeding them. This spoon is really tiny and that's awesome. Got a little brain shrimp on the end of there. But yeah, whenever you are feeding them, this is about the amount you should be giving them. For their first feeding, you could probably give them actually about half. And then you can start upping their feeding as they've been sitting for a bit and growing up. But for the best results of trying to grow these, you don't want to just have this. A couple things you can get that make things a little easier on you. Starting off, this is actually something from, I don't know if he made it, but it's something that he sold and I didn't feel like having shipped over here. Pika Cosmos makes this. This is a lid that is supposed to make it easier for feeding and stuff like that. Because otherwise you have to constantly pop off this lid. And as you'll notice, if I were to put an air pipe through here for aeration or anything like that, which we'll get into in a second, I would yank it every single time I pull this off. So with this one, you have little holes right here, and when you take off the lid, it doesn't pull them out, which is fantastic, especially for another thing we'll bring up in a second. But also, it has a little hole in the top, makes it really easy to feed. You're supposed to put a petri dish on it. I designed a little cap, just to sit on there. It does not firmly fit, so it will not pull it off as I pull it off. It does not firmly fit, it just sits on there. It'll fall off on its own. So, little easy cap I made. I'll put a link, I guess, to the 3D models that he puts out, as well as the ones you can buy. And for the cap, I'm not going to sell anything, but I will put a link to the cap in the description at some point. It won't be immediately at the time this video comes out, because I have to work and don't really know how I'm going to distribute a file. So, for now, that's all you really need to know. This is a nice little thing for the Ocean Zoo, which is what this thing's called. Pops on the top and replaces the lid. Makes it nice and easy. I 3D printed this myself on my Ender 3, which is the only 3D printer I've had for years. But yeah, I like this. I really wanted to get one, and I think that looks perfect. I do wish that I could have printed it in translucent blue, but I think this blue looks okay. As we were talking about, aeration's an important thing. So, I showed off a little bit of this in the other video, whenever I just showed the setup at the end of it, which we're not going to do this episode. We're going to do something different, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. But aeration is very important, which is why you can buy an air pump. This guy, little dude, is a 1-watt USB-powered air pump. I have so many USB ports ready over where that first one is that it's not even funny. Now, I did buy a different air stone for mine, but it does come with an air stone that is perfectly fine for the Ocean Zoo and any other sets. Just for my specific tank I had used before, it was awful. It also doesn't include a control valve, but you can pick those up for like $3 at your nearest pet store, which is what I did. I just went to the pet store, I bought a new air stone, and I bought a control valve because they were cheap. But from having this running, I will tell you, I have had mine running 24/7 since the last video, which was actually recorded on Sunday. It's been a week and a half since we started that setup. Since I started that setup. This one's being recorded on a Monday, so actually it's been a week and a day then. I'm losing track of days. But yeah, this thing I can confirm does work out really well. It does have a little lanyard or carabiner, yeah, for you to hang it up if you would like to. I will probably be buying some command hooks and hanging them up through that, but I haven't done that yet because I just kind of set it up seeing what would happen, and I really want to do more now. It's kind of fun watching these little guys grow up, and hopefully I'll have a better time this time. There is a final setup we're going to be doing at some point that's going to be a little bit more of a pain. We'll get to that. It's not for this video. But yeah, the piping of this is not bad. If it is awful for you, if you buy some and it has kinks in it and everything like that, buy some cheap from your local pet store. It's perfectly fine. The airstone that comes with this, I think, is perfectly fine. I don't know. I haven't used it because it didn't fit the other tank. I will be using it for this setup. So we'll figure that out. The other thing that I recommend, and I also got a different one of these for the other tank because it wouldn't fit in this one. Heater. I picked up the same one. This is the 5 volt 2 amp heater. Small little dude. And I didn't originally buy this one. But this is what I keep seeing being used, so I wanted to have one just to be able to use for this tank. And it's also going to be used for whenever we do the other project, because I have a second set of this coming. Got a nice little suction cup. That's a nice clamp right there. I think it's supposed to grab on right here, or you can slide it down onto this. I don't know. But that's a nice little 10-watt heater. It's probably going to be a little bit better for the tank than what I'm using. I have a little thin ceramic one that is still a 10-watt heater. It's just longer so that it can condense the heat and also fit in that tiny tank I had. I say tiny, it's actually bigger than what this one is. It's just the top was really slim. But thankfully, this has a whole lid we can put it in. So it can just plop right in there. It's exactly what it's going to be doing. But I think we've shown off everything now. For now. Never done this for a video, so we're going to do the setup on camera. Step 1 is where I expect to make a mess. We need to get distilled water into that thing. There's a little fill line in the back that makes it to where it's easy to see. But this is a little further away than I'd like, so we'll see how this goes. I fully expect to make a mess here. Perfect. Since we're using distilled water, I am using Good and Gather distilled water. We should not have to worry about waiting 24 hours for everything. We can mix in packet 1 and 2 right now. So, go ahead and get this down, shooken out. Go ahead and put in packet number 1. And packet number 2. Which normally has some sort of dye in it as well, which is weird. Alright. Now to stir it, I'm going to use the pipette that came with the previous kit. I did clean it, don't worry. Not with soap and water, don't do that. But just to mix everything up. Normally you'd want to use the one that came with the sea monkey stuff, but this doesn't come with one, so suffer. Seems pretty good and mixed up. Still a little bit of the crystals around, but we should be okay. Alright. And now, we just gotta set it by a window. I will do that not on camera. And there you have it. It's a little bit, it got very close to overflowing, and I'm not gonna lie,
This was a hassle to set up more than I'd like to admit. Also, there's the other tank. As you can see, the algae is beginning to grow on the bottom of it. It looks actually kind of nice. Still some alive in there. I don't know how. Also, yeah, I swapped out the stone. It was still a little bit too big for my liking. I'm not gonna lie, the heater is too. But if it works, it works. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I tried to see if I could find the little guy swimming around. Couldn't find him. Hopefully nothing happened. Found him. There he goes. But yeah. There's the little setup for now. I'll clean up that later. But I guess we'll touch back whenever we got shorts to show, because that's whenever I give updates. Anyway, see you back at the desk.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that little adventure. It was very unscripted, and I'm sure you could tell. But I think that's about everything I wanted to show for this one. My name's PokeDoo2. I think next time we'll try the bigger experiment. Oh, and don't forget to check the shorts for updates. Peace.
Hello, Gigi.